in Venezuela, what could happen in the coming days? What can we expect?
In the very coming few days, we could potentially observe that
Given where the situation stands now?
it's possible that the United States could carry out an operation on Venezuelan territory, which hasn't been ruled out,
What do we mean by a surgical operation?
in the sense of airstrikes against laboratories and routes on Venezuelan territory, which they've said since the beginning of this crisis was an option on the table, as well as the option of infiltrating special forces. And Marco Rubio gave an ultimatum that Maduro has 6 days.
Starting from when?
When was that?
I saw that just very recently yesterday.
The Secretary of State himself, Marco Rubio.
Yes, that he has 6 days to step down. And in fact, they were negotiating that. Trump confirmed this week that there were talks about his departure, obviously. And Maduro gave a 2-year deadline to leave. They didn't like that, they rejected it. And then Marco Rubio comes out and says he has less than a week to leave. That's already a direct ultimatum, which would be a prelude to a possible intervention, because we see a buildup of forces, we see a media narrative against him, and also threats. So now all that's left is for them to take action, either before or after a triggering incident occurs. There's a parallel in this situation, which is the Just Cause operation against Rafael Noriega in 1989. In
Panama.
Yes, there was a similar process. He was labeled a dictator and drug trafficker by the media. The administration of Bush Sr. also said that intervention was on the table. There was an escalation in rhetoric. And finally, what happened was a trigger, the murder of Lieutenant Paz, an American lieutenant. On December 16th of that year, and 48 hours later, Panama was invaded. In the case of Venezuela, the trigger could be harassment of one of the military vessels in its waters, or that someone, as the Spanish say, loses their head and decides to attack one of those ships.
That would be a justification for them to intervene. Let's not rule out that the United States could provoke it.